So we have another option or another method that you should know also. This is actually the techniques to make economic comparison in order to choose which location give you the economic advantage. So you have to identify fixed and variable costs for each location. And also you have to plot the cost for each location and select location with the lowest total cost for expected production volume. So that is, if we compare with the previous one, this require a bit of effort. All right. So they said that you have to identify what are the fixed costs, what are the variable costs, right? For each of the location. So we have this Athens, Brussels, and Lisbon. We need to actually uh, compare these three locations in terms of fixed cost and variable cost and the total cost. So put all this in the equation of total cost. So TC is total cost equals to the fixed cost for Athens 30,000 plus variable cost 75 times with the volume X. That is the equation for Athens. And then for Brussels, we have the total cost is TC. So 60 is the fixed cost. Variable cost is 45 times X because the volume is unknown. And Lisbon is 110,000, the fixed cost. 25 is the variable cost times X. So that is actually the equation. And then based on the example that been given is actually they want us to decide between these three, Athens, Brussels, and Lisbon. If they want to produce 1,000 units per year, so which area, which city that is most economical? Okay, so what you should do is you need to plot. Okay, so before you plot, then you have to do this computation. Just now I give you the equation for each three of the location, right? So you using that equation, so basically using that equation, you have to find the crossover. So how many crossover that you have to find? So we have um, three locations. So you have to find the crossover between Athens and Brussels, and also between Brussels and Lisbon. Okay, so we find two crossover. So how to find the crossover? Just now I gave you, right, the total equation for Athens is actually 30,000 plus 70x because we do not know the volume, right? So equals to 60,000. This is the total cost equation for the Brussels, 60,000 plus 45x. So bring here all those all those figures that have x. 75 minus 45, then you got 30, and then 60,000 minus 30,000, and you got 30,000. So x would be 30,000 divide with 30, then you get 1,000. So crossover point between Athens and Brussels happen at the quantity of 1,000. Okay, so that is the new information that we know, right? And another crossover that you have to find is the crossover point between Brussels and Lisbon. So also insert the equation of Lisbon, Brussels, that is 60,000. The fixed cost, 45 is the variable cost, X is the numbers of volume that we do not know. Okay, equivalent to the 110,000. This is the fixed cost for Lisbon. This is the variable cost times X, the quantity that we try to find. Uh, Okay, so all the figures that have x, so we do the quadratic equation. So 45 minus 25, then 20x. 110,000 minus 60, then we get 50,000. Then x should be uh, crossover at 2,500 quantity. Okay, so you know when these two, Athens and Brussels line, will cross over. Dia akan intersect. Where is it? And then Brussels and Lisbon, where is it? It will intersect. It is actually at 2,500. All right. So now you have to draw. The y-axis is the annual cost and the x-axis is the volume. All right. So in order for you to draw, you are basically needed 2 points, right? So just now we actually know that Athens and Brussels, the crossover happened at 1,000. And if you actually, for Athens, if you actually doesn't produce anything, you still have to bear a fixed cost of 30,000. So starting from 30,000, okay, draw a line, okay, a straight line, and then make sure it go through the 1,000 uh, volume. Okay, and then the 60,000 is the Brussels equation, where this 60,000 is actually the total cost if you do not produce anything. Okay, so you make sure that this Brussels is also crossing over the Athens line at the volume of 1,000. Okay, so if you are using the ruler, then it should be no problem. Okay, so make sure it actually crossover at 1,000. Okay, and then for Lisbon, okay, based on your scales, so if you do not produce anything, the total cost for Lisbon area or Lisbon city is 110,000. You still have to bear 110,000 with no quantity being produced. Okay, so from there we know, right, Brussels and Athens is actually intercept at the volume of 2,500. So draw a tick here, make sure both of these lines are crossover at this point of volume, at this point of quantity. Then you can have the three line being drawn nicely. Okay, all right. So it's not enough with that. You still have to identify which area offer the lowest cost, or which area is offer the most optimum cost, or the apa kita panggil, economical. Okay, so how can we decide? So look at the lowest line. So the lowest line within this area before the line is being intersect or crossover is actually Athens. So the green one is Athens, right? So Athens is the lowest compared to Brussels, compared to Lisbon. So Athens should be the lowest cost if you produce between 0 to 1,000. And then after 1,000, then what is the lowest line? Brussels. The blue one is Brussels, right? So Brussels offer the lowest cost if you want to produce between 1,000 to 2,500. And then if, let's say, you want to produce more than 2,500, because is Brussels and Lisbon line is actually crossover here. So Lisbon is the lowest line in the chart. So Lisbon is offering the lowest cost if your production is more than 2,500 and above. Okay, so when they ask you which area that is economical for you to produce 2,000, so where is it? The 2,000 is here, right? So within what range? within the range of Brussels. So Brussels is the lowest cost that can offer to you. So if to you want to produce